Okay, so we promised tonight in a few places. We're going to say who you are, and then our question tonight is kind of one of all of this is how did your parents affect your relationship with money? Okay. So I'll start. I'm Stephanie. I host workshops every second Wednesday of every month. One of those days. And for me, my parents were entrepreneurs, and specifically, mostly my dad. He owned a farm, and we sold meat, cattle meat, and then also we owned. And so I love that I got my entrepreneurial spirit from him, but also on the flip side, I also got like the environment of you have to work really hard. So even when I've had times of like a great influx, I've always had to try and like bring myself back in and remind myself like I have to work like 12-hour days. That was just what I would do. Sometimes I would never see him the entire day. But come home to after of that. So that is my relationship. And I'm like, no. You're like, great, I'm like, you need to go in on the spot. I'm Ashley.
I didn't really have much influence from my parents with money. I can say talking about or learning about money was never a topic. I just expected I guess to spend what you have and figure it out later.
Me? I am Billy. I guess had two households because my parents were divorced. So my mother taught me really nothing directly about financial, other than if I wanted anything from a very early age. I was about the age of 10, and then, but my dad taught us that nice things cost money and you have to work for that and have nice things. And he also taught me how to like start budgeting. And when I got my first car, it was $1,000, but he would go to work and print off every month that had like budgeting for me, so I would pay him the money and insurance and stuff like that. So that's kind of, I guess, the only basis I have for it was about the and it taught me that. And my dad to keep $5 in the ashtray. And my car's gas station, so that happened.
Love it. All right, you're ready.
Or taught me bills and
I have time to change. We all were like, yep, I see it for myself.
Yeah.
I'm Nina. My parents very much just taught me the importance of saving. You know, I'm but they try to teach me things. Worked out and my parents were so I lived with my mom and I didn't really learn anything from my dad at all. My mom, we didn't have two parents together, so I didn't really learn much. I think that's why now, when I have it, I want to spend it. I'm way better now than I used to be. My kids were little, my ex-husband, and nothing. And so it was like my mom. I moved out when I was like, anyway, My parents started out together really cool. My dad would go down to the mines and do dental work in the mines. Then, then they got really rich really fast. My mom wanted the best of everything. They would buy the best of everything. So and they tried to teach them, save and to always pay cash for everything. Let me tell you, that did not fit. I am an incredible. But anyway, but yeah, I saw a lot of change.
That's a crazy change.
Yeah.
Cash to card. Mine never, ever.
Yeah. Yeah, and my parents used to card things, but they paid off the next day. Because they're the ones whatever it is they want. I need then they become successful. I don't know what their mentality was. We don't want. They could just give us city money. We need this for them. I don't know what's in their mentality. I don't know. But they did try to also teach me save, this budget. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to spend it. And then my sister's completely opposite, and we're not very fun apart.
As we're discussing this, I got thinking, I wonder what anyone say about us.
Oh, I'm doing the same thing to my son. I'm Angela, and oh my, I have spent some life in this together. I grew up with a single dad, and his love language is pretty amazing, so I never had to ask for it. It was always there, and I just had it, but then like I do. And he told me, like, I wanted a job when I was back. I wanted my own. You're gonna work for the rest of your life, and I insisted. And then I worked my senior year, and I paid for like my own senior trip because I wanted to have that mindset, I guess. But then I lived with him, and he passed away when I was 24, and I came into a lot of money. So technically, I should be like set for life, but I was clueless. I had no, like, I needed this back then, someone to direct me, and I had no guidance, and a lot of people that took advantage of circumstances. And so now I live. I mean, I have things, but my dad made sure it's like that, but I owned a home for 24 years old. But as soon as I realized you could borrow against that and how easy it was, then I just got myself in over my head and then sold my house. I lived in my whole life. And then I lived in like 9 different places with my daughter until I finally. So I own now.
Nice, good.
I'm trying to build my. But the struggle is real.
Pop back to you.
I'm Megan as well, and I come from American Philippines. So I grew up poor. We were paycheck to paycheck growing up. I only had for 6 years of my life, and from there, I always thought you have to have 2 incomes in the household. You gotta have 2 adult role models. And so going into becoming 18, I wanted out of my parents' house. So I left at midnight, moved in with my boyfriend at the time, and so I learned how many things did I think of it. So that's how I started to live my life, and then separated, got remarried, and he had good money, and allowed me an opportunity to get an education and become a massage therapist, part-time job, and part-time income, which made me with like And my mom went to graduate school, got an income, my parents had still together 2 incomes, and I left that in the back of my mind, like, am I gonna make it? But just recently, over the last couple of months, I got a job opportunity for a home, so I'm back to that entrepreneurial spirit, apartment, like, because so like I'm getting into a different mindset now. But my parents would never give up, right? Like they always had a way to make it, but they also like that I would change jobs or my dad lives in the city, so that's what I do. Just now for that.
All right, so our speaker tonight is Kenny, and he is going to go over all the spectrums of money mindset for us. So I'm not going to go over too much what he's going to talk about because that was just reiteration, but I think this is a good opportunity to like dive in, take some notes, get some paper, and get some paper. And it'll be about an hour, and we'll have some fun activities for after that. So welcome, Kenny.
So thank you, I appreciate that. And I love the question because it does have such an impact. I'm just going to turn that like this and make it easier, but it does have such an impact on how we're raised by our parents. I was kind of raised sort of down the middle in the fact that my parents and grandparents had the entrepreneurial bug and were business owners with the scarcity mindset. So they were like, let's go, but keep their foot on the base, the base plate. So I've been battling that for the last, all my life, but really once you understand it, I was able to define what I wanted, and when I came to the realization that I didn't know what I thought I knew at 21, and which brings me to, history. A lot of people don't think about the history too much when they think about money mindset. Starting with, why we don't talk about money. Why don't we talk about money? There was several examples given just in that question. Social, it's taboo. We brought up with the belief that money is a private, personal matter. Don't talk about it with your friends. Don't talk about it with your family. Don't tell your kids you're struggling. Don't tell your parents you're struggling. Whatever. Don't tell your best friend that is in finance that you're struggling or whatever. There's a lot of this taboo and social expectations and stuff. And then next one is fear and shame. We're afraid of our situation. It's impolite to be money, so we don't want to talk about it, or we're afraid of what they're going to think about us. Oh no, I have credit card debt. What's he going to think of me now? Excuse me. And we're also anxious about sharing our successes. That's just as much feared as sharing our struggles. What are they going to think? Is it going to strain the relationship? Is it going to, are we going to become arrogant or think we're better than others? Are people going to think we're acting like that? The way we carry ourselves, with the confidence that we have with learning and educating these things. That leads into comparison and judgment. If you have struggles, you compare yourself to others. Oh no, I'm not as good as them because they drive a nicer car than I do. I'm not fit to be in that room because I don't have that designer shirt that she's wearing or whatever. So we feel shame, we feel fear. And so that leads us to isolation. I'll just sit here in my corner and figure it out or go with whatever happens. And then, yeah, absolutely.
I just recently read an article that it's innate for us to actually compare. Like, we're told, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But like almost one of those like things that we can't miss, because it actually tells us where we line up in the world. So whenever you're feeling down, it is natural social media and look at the people they know where they want to be. Like, hey, what do they have right now and where am I at? So it's actually a very natural thing to do, and it's more so just accepting that in yourself and being like, okay, I've just gotta understand that that's normal, but then what am I gonna do about that? Instead of like sitting with all of it. So I just made me feel a little better that way. So anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I like the part in Shrek where it's like, just don't look down. It's like, Shrek, I'm looking down. You know, we automatically do what we're told not to do. You know, and then fear of lack of financial education. Sorry, jumping ahead of myself. So, yeah, lack of financial education. We just don't know what we don't know. Our parents were raised with this, and so we were raised with that, and we don't know any better. You know, we don't know if you never leave Salt Lake, you don't know what Colorado looks like. You know, so just not being able to feel confident in those discussions, whatever level they're at. You know, just feeling the lack of being prepared to have those conversations. You know, again, you stay isolated, or you don't bring it up, or you just try and figure it out on your own. We talked about cultural and generational factors. What did our parents' upbringing look like? What did grandpa do? You know, in many cultures, again, it's taboo. We don't talk about money. You know, that's not polite to talk about money. You know, in others, it's more open. Some cultures, it's more open to discussing. You know, certainly I'm not implying bragging or anything like that, but they openly discuss it, and you know, to help each other. Then you have vulnerability and trust. When you talk about money any deeper than talking about the weather, you become vulnerable. You start to share some insensitive information, you know, especially about your personal finances and where you're at, and credit card debt that you're struggling with, or a bankruptcy and things like that. And you become vulnerable, you know. Then you start questioning, do you have the trust with that person, whoever you're talking to? Sometimes even yourself. Do you have that trust with them? What are they going to do with that information? Is it going to strain the relationship? Is the relationship going to change because of that new information that they have? You know, so, or hopefully not, but sometimes it does happen. Maybe they use it for reasons of exploitation. Maybe they'll dig up some dirt on you and say, hey, if you don't do X, Y, Z, I'm going to tell whoever about whatever. You know, so another reason we don't talk about it. Gender stereotypes. So there's a lot of that. I feel that it's improved quite a bit over the last couple decades, but it still has lots of room for improvement. That's just my opinion on both of those. But we still have that stigma, that thought in our mind. That's a guy's topic, or that's for them, and that's for whoever, you know, and we're over here in this room, and they're over there in that room, you know. So those stereotypes that we get labeled with, and we label ourselves with. Another one is self-reliance. A lot of people generalize that term and think you have to do everything on your own. You have to figure it out on your own. You have to have all the resources on your own. You have to have all the knowledges on your own. Otherwise, you're not self-reliant. When in actuality, it's know how to and being able to put forth the effort to find those resources. You know, not just sit on the couch and hope that somebody comes along with the solution you need, but you got to go talk to people. You got to educate yourself about it. You got to try and understand it. You got to put forth the work, do the work. Maybe you do have to do some 12 or 14-hour days for a while, or maybe you do have to give up something for a while to catch up. You know, but you don't have to do it on your own or by yourself. Excuse me. So a lot of reasons that we don't talk about, and you can probably think of some more. And we'll move on to why we should break the silence. Why we should talk about those. One, financial literacy. You know, getting that education. Understanding about money. Understanding about mindset and all the different aspects that financial literacy covers. If we don't talk about the problem, we're not going to solve the problem. If someone's got a bunch of credit card debt, let's see, yeah, credit card debt, and I know how to get out of credit card debt as an example, but we don't talk about it, it's never going to solve the problem. Or if you have mechanical issues with your vehicle, and my best friend over here is an expert mechanic, but we don't talk about it, I don't know about your issues over here to tell my friend over there, you're not going to solve the problem. Breaking taboos, getting rid of those taboos, overcoming those taboos, challenging those taboos. Especially when you understand why and where those taboos came from, what originated those taboos. We're able to reduce the shame and fear associated around those. We don't put it on a billboard, but we're more openly comfortable to talk about it. And that next one is support, solidarity. Talking about it creates an environment of support, solidarity. Knowing others face similar challenges, you have a support group. Like you've got right here, people have different challenges and stuff. Other people have been through those, so we can help each other. You can network, talk about it. Hey, I know this great person that does this. Hey, I did this and this worked for me. Whatever. So a couple of reasons that we need to talk about money more and be open to talking about money. Now to start developing a little in the money mindset or a millionaire mindset, whatever you want that money mindset to look like, and we'll dive into that more, is taking responsibility for your results. Taking responsibility to make it happen. I'm sorry, but Ed McMahon is not coming to your door. I've called him, I texted him, I faxed him, but he's just not coming. So we gotta get up, take responsibility to get to where we are, whatever that goal is, whatever that looks like for you. Stop playing the blame game. It's not going to help anyone to play the blame game. A lot of us are too busy blaming others instead of taking the action steps we need. So if I'm standing right here, but my goal is to go sit down, but I'm blaming you or you for why I'm not over there, it's not going to help me move. So when you stop playing the blame game and you start taking the action steps to get to where you need to go, you'll make progress on that. Excuse me. Adopting the philosophy, if it's going to happen, it's up to you. One of my mentors, Monty Home, I don't know if you've heard of him or not, but great mentor of mine, he put it this way: if it is to be, it's up to me. So start with where you are, what you have, and start moving forward, getting those things in place, action steps, and taking that responsibility to achieving the level of success that you want. Identifying limiting beliefs, identifying and releasing limiting beliefs. Going back to those taboos, how we were raised. One of them is it's selfish to be wealthy. Wealthy people are bad. Wealthy people are greedy. There's a bunch of things like that out there. Or the more money I have, the more problems I have. You have to have money to make money. Or here's a common one that I hear a lot is, I don't have what it takes to make money. It's not for me. I just don't have what it takes to make money. So we got to identify and then work on releasing those limiting beliefs, and start changing those. And we'll dive into that a little bit more. Excuse me. But one example of that is I have everything I need to create everything I want. So whatever that limiting or whatever that positive affirmation looks like for you. And the good thing is you can change it as you progress, and you can have multiple of them. So yeah, I have everything I need to create everything I want. Yeah, there's a lot of great ones, and again, you can tailor them to you. You can customize them. I've rewritten my affirmations hundreds of times, just because I tweak a little bit, or I'll follow that one, then I'll grow a little bit, and so I'll learn a little bit more and tweak it. And so there's no right answer for that, and there's no one size fits all. But as long as you start acting like the person you want to become, starting where you are, excuse me, then you'll be on progress. Now, a little exercise I'd like to do. Can I get a volunteer? Perfect. Awesome. You're going to come up here and play 2 different roles, if that's okay. All right. All right, remind me your name.
Megan.
Megan. Awesome. Thank you, Megan. All right, so you're going to start out as, we'll call you negative Megan. You're broke, you never have money, you're full of self-doubt, negative self-talk, the whole 9 yards. So how would you act? If you were to walk from here to that chair, how would you act? How would you carry yourself? How would you think? Yeah, very slow, slump, not really paying attention to anything, barely paying attention to where she's going. Yeah. And if you were to interact with someone, I said, "Hey, Megan, how you doing?" How do you interact? How do you?
Hi.
Exactly. You're like, what do you want? What do you do? Exactly. And now we'll go opposite. Positive Megan. All the money that she has on her, in her affirmations, all the money you want, right down to the penny. Your life is going great. You've achieved all the goals you want. Life is going good. Life is exactly how you want. Now, how do you carry yourself to that chair? Yeah, confident, always on purpose. Perfect. And if I interact, "Hey, Megan, how's it going?"
How you doing?
Awesome. Very confident, interactive. Thank you. I appreciate that. And for Megan. But it starts in your mind. Wherever you are, it's in your mind, regardless of the out there. So when you start acting like the millionaire or the person you want to be, when you do it in your mind first, the universe starts putting those things into play to create it in the physical realm. So it'll start putting the people, the opportunities, the resources in play to get you to that reality in the physical realm. So when you create it internally with your mental 6 higher faculties, then the universe creates it in the physical realm, and then our 5 senses confirm it back to us, if that makes sense. Any questions on that? So, yeah, a lot of people think our internal is a result of the external, but it's the external as a result of the internal. So we create it in our mind first, and then the universe makes that a reality. So it's possible to achieve success, but often we're standing in our own way. We have those mental blocks. We have those stories we tell ourselves. We have those excuses. We have those blames that we give everyone. A quote that Bishop T.D. Jakes has said is, "When you hang on to the stories of your past, you do so at the expense of your destiny." Oh, yeah, when you hold on to your history, sorry, I messed that up a little bit. When you hold on to your history, you do so at the expense of your destiny. So when we're holding on to that story, or the way it used to be, or I can't do it because, or they did that and so now I can't, you're doing all that at the expense of your destiny. So something thinking about, what is a story or what is a belief that you are letting hold you back? So improving our mindset has a lot of positive things, and we'll go over that for a minute. Impact on financial behavior. Again, when Megan was talking like this, or walking like this, negative Megan, what was her financial behavior going to be like? If she found $10 on the street, what was she going to do with it? Yes, spend it probably.
I deserve it.
or find the next Pepsi and hot dog or whatever she was looking for next, or whatever. No real thought about it, just the next thing she had in mind. But when we view money as a tool for growth, opportunity, and empowerment, we're more likely to make wise financial decisions, such as saving, investing, and spending responsibly. Stress reduction. I think this one's a big overlooked one. We correlate stress with money, but do we understand how much it impacts our lives? How much stress money can create? You think of the stress of living to paycheck to paycheck. Yes.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
So I may be moving up in in my life and feeling like things are progressing, but I still have that stressful. And I can easily allow that to overcome me. So I feel that celebrating the milestone, right? Like, even if you pay minimum payment, like a credit card, that happens. And like celebrating just those tiny things. And then when you take something off, treat yourself. Don't put yourself into this scarcity mode where you're like, okay, I made it there, now on to the next. Okay, I made it there, now on to the next. Because I feel like that's still pulls back into negative mindset. But if you're celebrating it as you go, the whole journey becomes. And so then you're pulling through that.
Not gonna binge
Yeah,
buy as soon as you
right?
buy
That $10
card.
can become, okay, I'm gonna treat myself to a candy bar, but I'm gonna take the other $8.
I don't know anything about
Yep.
Can I take that one step further too?
Yes.
I was actually having a very rough morning, and a lot of things happened anyways. And I got a booking on my Airbnb. I was like, I'm gonna actually celebrate this one. Like, I'm gonna go all out. Like, I just like made a big deal of it. And told some people, and just like I was really like, whatever. And then I had 2 more. And I was like, I feel like that's a thing, is to just let like the happy moments go, and then it doesn't really. It's kind of like the opposite of that, like with the celebration and all that. So yeah, and it's funny how those things happen and you don't really, like,
Yeah.
okay, how important this really is.
Yeah, absolutely. And excuse me.
Yeah.
Because I never positively.
Yeah, it's easier to be like, please help me with my problem, instead of like, celebrate me.
Yeah, and I like how you pointed out the $2 for the candy bar than $8 for something else. You know, especially if you have that predetermined limit, if you will, or predetermined celebration thing. So you're not going out and spending $500 on a celebration or whatever, or just getting carried away. But you're like, all right, if I accomplish X, Y, Z, then I'll go do this. So you have it predetermined, so it's still within that, and it's not going to make it even worse going out and afterwards. And so yeah. And a side note of
I'm like, I just want to have a couple beers with me. Like, so if I accomplish take something off, or I have made 3 different payments with like $10 more on each one, then I'm like, okay, sweet, I can treat myself today. But until then, karaoke is just at home with my tiny machine.
That's sad.
She has one. I do have one.
She has to practice.
So I can still karaoke.
Oh.
But the joy of going out with it and baby
Yeah,
and
next
like
step.
that kind of thing. Yeah. So it just like it elevates that excitement. I still have karaoke, but a little added.
We should all
Yeah.
determine what it is that we like to celebrate with, and then be like, all right, we're going to karaoke, like for her, and we're going.
And then we'll celebrate together.
I love
karaoke.
yeah, absolutely. And it's a good it's a good tie into that, because thoughts love family reunions. Like when you said that, and the once you start thinking negative, it's easier to just keep going. And similar with positive, once we train ourselves, you know, at first learning to ride a bike, it's difficult, but once you know how to pick it back up and just keep going. You know, so once you know how to think positive more than negative, it's like riding that bike again. But they love family reunions. So if you start thinking a positive thought, they're going to invite their cousins over here and their second neighbor's best friend's cousins over there, and more positive thoughts and more positive thoughts. And hey, I did this great. And hey, oh yeah, me too. I did that great. And it's just going to add up one way or the other. So.
I think it's acknowledging when you know you're because it's like you have to practice all the time for that to become a habit. So like first is just acknowledging like, hey, that's not how I should be thinking.
Absolutely. I'm standing in this mud. What am I going to do about it? Deliberately correcting it to where you want to go.
Well, that's really hard to do, but that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying is I read or heard in a seminar that your words about me too. So if you're always like, I'm broke, looking out into the universe,
Oh,
you're
absolutely.
broke and you're not manifesting. You're telling yourself all these negative things. And then you're telling yourself when you're feeling it, it's not gonna happen.
Oh. And
It's hard to, that's there's, bored. It's like why today's like the day for work girl. Hey, my reminder, I can get back on track.
Yep. Yep. Just like any other muscle, like going to the gym, you can't do it once a month and expect good results. So, because this is
Wait on that one too.
a mental muscle. but yeah, and the stress that it just adds and adds and adds, because then you're stressed over money from paycheck to paycheck. You're stressed about how you're going to pay this bill, or Sally needs shoes for soccer, but you got to pay this dental bill, or your card just broke down, or all those sorts of stress. And I can't deal with this right now. I'm going shopping. So you feel great for a minute while you're shopping, but then when you get home and stuff, and the bill comes or whatever, the credit card bill comes, you're like, crap, and then you're even lower than you were up here before you started shopping. And so, it just spirals in much stress finances can put on us. So, and then on the opposite side, achieving financial goals. When you have that positivity and you're able to recognize and address the stress, okay, yeah, I'm stressed. This is what happened. How am I going to move forward versus just letting it sink you down and down? Then you can take those steps toward achieving your financial goal instead of going on retail therapy. And putting that money towards your goals, like maybe saving for a house or retirement or an investment or whatever coming up, and which ties into wealth and creation and abundance. Positive mindset embraces the concept of abundance. Like what you were saying, I'm broke. If you think you're going to be broke, you're going to be broke. Or you think, I'm never going to be rich. That's for those people over there. Or he's related to them, so of course he's rich. Thoughts like that are going to keep you in that state. But if you accept, hey, I can have that, if I put forth the work they did, I can have the same results. Or similar, based on what I want. So recognizing those things and those opportunities, again, going back to negative, you're not going to recognize these opportunities are up here because you're not looking for them. Then it enhances your decision making. You're thinking clear, you're thinking with goals in mind instead of just of that next problem. So many times we overspend or whatever just to get rid of the stress of the moment. I don't care what it costs on the credit card bill. I just want this stress gone right now. I can't deal with it. So we don't make those decisions when we're in a negative mindset. Improving relationships, financial relationships with your money. You have a relationship with your money. We don't think about it like having a relationship with friends or with your family or whatever. You have a relationship with money. What does that relationship look like? Do you never talk to each other? Do you say, I never have enough, or I don't want you around? Money listens. So, adaptability to change. When you have those foundations set, you're more able to adapt to change. If you have a setback with something, or your washer breaks down, or somebody ends up in the hospital for something, you're able to more adapt and better handle the situation than if you let stress take over for you. You're able to navigate challenges. Think of it in the car going down the freeway. If you got trying to tune the radio while texting someone or drinking a coffee or something, you're not going to see that car and you're going to go like all over the road. Versus if you've got both hands on the wheel and you're focused, you're able to navigate it a lot better. I love analogies, if you haven't noticed by now. Then you have more confidence. You have more confidence about money. You have more confidence about your abilities to handle money and to utilize money and to utilize the tool that money is. And you're able to achieve those goals and take more proactive steps. with that confidence. You know, you're not just slumping around. I'm going to use her example a lot too. You're not just slumping around. You are determined. You're focused. You are set to succeed. And here's one we were talking about a little earlier. All right, got a little behind on there. Generational impact. It has a ripple effect. You guys talked about it with your kids a little bit, or with your parents. You know, how often do we think about the here and now, or this problem today, or the credit card bill that's overdue? How often do we think about that instead of the generational impact that we're having by our choices? When we have a positive one, we can cultivate and model more positive behaviors for our kids, for our family, for our friends, for our business associates, for whoever. And opposite is true with the negative mindset. You know, ask yourself this: are you thinking short term with your immediate needs, your spouse, kids, whatever? Or are you thinking long term, multiple generations down, 10, 12, 14 generations from now? You know, 100 years, 300 years from now? Are you thinking about what you're doing today, how it's going to affect them? A great example that I can think of is Dale Carnegie. What has his decisions done for his grandkids and great-great-grandkids today? You know, so are you thinking in that respect? And then your overall well-being. Yeah.
I'm always curious as to like, and I know there's no one right answer, but like, how do you influence your children, and how much is like too much information or not enough information? I always am curious about that. Does anybody else feel that?
My son's a teenager, and I don't want him to know he might struggle with
Yeah.
my son and I are very open. No, I'm like, I understand too. He needs to go buy things. You don't say things like, I'm ready to move out.
You can't buy a gallon of milk though.
You move out, but you're gonna be sacrificing. But I'm just saying, you know, need gas money. Well, go back to work.
Yeah.
That's so hard to say that. I just feel like I do it, but I try to say that.
I know someone that actually did a couple of months of like, hey, our money's in the account, you're paying the bills, you're doing like physically paying the bills, doing the grocery shopping, like when they turn like that experience. And I'm like, oh my, handle that.
I like that idea.
Yeah, but then there's part of me that's like, how would you do that, right?
My daughter is getting this lesson. Ooh, and that's after she told us. Oh, yeah. Wreck her friend's car, the insurance didn't cover the full amount. It's $4,000 difference. And it's not much. But we have that money left, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, let's pull that right out.
Right? And so I told you, I said, I paid the first payment. She's like, well, I still need to make that payment every month. And I said, hey, you have to shield till the 25th of this month. But I'm not doing it. Like, it's on you now. Like, this is a big life lesson. If I want to move out when I'm 18, like, let's see if you can just pay $200 every month.
I didn't go on a tangent, but I feel like that's like a big one. I feel like that would help if you knew how better.
Maybe you could just do that within your own home. Like, here's a budget. You never be able to buy the groceries.
Yeah.
This is how much this will cost you for a whole series.
Well, you know, and I did I said, some have $100. That will last.
You know, last you tell.
Now, and that's all you
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
$200. Works at Smith's, and you gave me $218. I'll give you $18. You gave me $200 after what I gave you. We had to figure out where you could pay when you wanted to go back.
don't think so though, I mean, like, they'll be
Like
better
this.
off in the long haul if they haven't learned.
Exactly, teach a man to fish sort of concept. And like you said, there is no right way, and there's no set way to talk about money mindset, and because you may need something that is different from what you need. It's different from what you need, and what you need today is different than what you need in 3 months or whatever. So there's no right way, and oftentimes I bounce back and forth. I learned a little bit here, but then I learned more over here and stuff, and then I can understand back here even better. So there's no right way and stuff, and then I think it's up to the parent and kids and the relationship that they have with that. Like I give my son an allowance, and then he's all right. If you want this, you can go buy this, but then you can't have this yet until you save up for it and stuff. So he's learning those habits early, But if he wants more, I give him opportunities to earn more. I'm like, yeah, if you want to earn more, you can go do this, or I'll talk to my neighbor over here, and he'll let you do this for them. And so there's all sorts of different scenarios and different ways that people can teach those lessons. And sometimes the school of hard knocks is the best way. I've had to learn that many times myself. So, in fact, I've learned those lessons with my son around. It's like, remember, Dad, when you did that? Well, make sure. So, yeah.
One thing, I just want to add one more thing too, like the name brands, right? And teenagers get really, really hung up on gotta have the biggest bad thing. My daughter is turning 15 on May 15th. You will find like a Vans t-shirt that she likes online. And then she'll go to Amazon and find that exact t-shirt and buy like Vans logos or iron on or whatever. So she creates her own and really is a duplicate, but it's half the price. And so she's learning how, okay, I can have this style, but I can also do it within my means. So that I have to. And that one, my cousin's clothes when they take their tags off. Put them on other things.
I never thought of that.
Or I find a name brand thing that you don't like, take the name off, put it onto something new.
Yeah, being resourceful and innovative. A lot of great ways and a lot of great examples that you can use as teaching moments. So, all right. Money mindset. Who has a definition of money mindset, or when you think of it, what's the first thing that comes to thought? Money mindset. Budget.
Positive talk stuff, like,
Yeah, words exactly. Positive or negative. So essentially, my definition that I've interpreted is your attitudes and beliefs that you've developed towards money. Positive, negative, whatever. Over your lifetime. And how do you know where your money mindset is? We talked about it a little bit and some of the experiences that we've had. How do you know where your money mindset is? Where it is right now, the present state of your money mindset.
I think it's
Yeah?
Is that what you feel money?
Yeah, or just how would you evaluate?
Needs improvement.
Evaluate it, or on a scale of, or just, A couple of ways that I've come up with that help determine, how you would do that by your reactions is, let's say you're shopping for a new car for your daughter's friend, and you told your daughter that car cost $75,000. What's her first reaction?
Impossible.
Yeah, impossible, sticker shock. You're like, oh, holy crap! You jump, you gasp for air. So is that you want a scarcity mindset with those, or you're like, all right, I don't know where the money's coming from. I don't have it now, but I know I'll figure it out. Let's make it happen. What do you tend with your mindset? And then another one is looking at your current results. Your physical results, your external results, or are a reflection of your internal results. Are you always broke? Are you always living paycheck to paycheck? Or are you always paying your bills on time? Are you, achieving success all the time? What do your current results look like? No, what was that?
Needs improvement.
Well, yep. There's always room for improvement. Here's another one. Who likes paying bills?
No, I do.
You do? Why do you say that? Who minds paying bills? I should use that word. Who minds paying bills?
I used to till I went to auto pay, and I love it auto pay. I like sit and stress
Why did you stress about it?
before.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did it before. Like, it's funny because as we've been talking, one of the other things I learned from my mom is she used to always say, "We always have more than enough." And even though I didn't fit in the child, I didn't feel it. I adopted that for my whole adult life, and somehow, I can literally have a month with no income, and I'll be like, there was more than enough. Like, wow, it always ended up working that way. And so I feel like that's a thing that always just helps me feel better.
Okay. Knowing that there's more. Was there a comment over here?
I was just gonna say, I don't mind paying bills either. Auto pay. I don't see it. I'll sign out of time. I've tried to
Okay.
but honestly, it's all my I have like 6 accounts and all my bills are automatically paid. My savings account automatically fuel legend.
Yeah, there's a lot of conveniences you can, once they're set up. I hate getting things set up, and if they go squampus, that's where I get frustrated.
So I'll skip the date and then I have a $35 fee.
Yeah, that's why I used to do it.
Yeah.
Like happy.
I don't mind paying bills. I don't mind it at all because I value the running water or the lights a lot more than this. This is not as valuable as having the lights and the air conditioning or whatever in my house. So I don't mind paying bills. And kind of like what you were saying, there's more out there. I know how to get it. I know where to go to get it, how I make it. So there's more. It's plentiful. It's abundant. How do you know where your money mindset came from? We talked about this a little bit with our parents and stuff. Yeah. Do you know your money mindset has a history? Most of them do. Came from your grandpa's, great-grandpa's, neighbors, best friends, dog walkers, mailman, who came across the ocean on the Mayflower. So a lot of times our core money mindsets or mindsets in general have been passed down for generations and generations further than we can trace in many cases. So there's a history, and not a whole lot changes. Hundreds of years, and not a whole lot changes. What did your money mindset look like growing up? Just questions to ask yourself. We talked about this a little bit. What did it look like growing up? Who had similar money mindsets to what you were raised with? Or who do you hang around with, and what is their money mindset? Again, they love family reunions, and it is also the phrase of, you are a reflection of the 5 people you hang around the most. So if you're hanging over here with negative people and scarcity mindset, you're going to become one of them. Or if you start moving over into the positive aspect, you'll become a positive. That's right. Well, we better keep up. She's got a purpose. Consider your early experiences, like we talked about a little before. You guys were going around the room sharing those. Parental influence, as we talked about. Was there fighting and bickering or stressing and we never have enough? Well, I need to pay this bill. Well, I need to fix my truck. Verbal messages. A lot of verbal messages that parents just spit out and not realizing at the moment what impact it's having on their kids. Several of them, and you probably all heard them. Money is the root of. Money doesn't grow. You can't have your cake and. Yeah. And a penny saved is penny earned. See, and something new I learned about that one is a penny saved is a penny. It's not going to impact. We put so much value on money. And I'll get a little bit more on that in here. I don't know, how am I doing on time? Okay. I can still go for a bit, so you just tell me when. But, your financial environment. What was it look like growing up again, around your school, around your neighborhood kids? Things like that. Educational background. What did you learn about money? All those sorts of things. Early concepts with money. Early experiences with money. Did you have an allowance? Were you allowed to pay for things yourself? Did you get a budget to go grocery shopping, or to help your mom go grocery shopping, or to buy your video game, or whatever? What kind of experiences did you have growing up? What was the stress and instability, or the stress or things look like in your home? The cultural beliefs. What about life events or trauma? Someone ends up in the hospital. Someone steals from you. You go bankrupt. Your business partner cuts out from under you and steals the business from you. A lot of traumatic things that happen that have an impact on our financial money mindset. Like I was saying earlier, we put money on a pedestal. Oftentimes we value money more than it should be. I didn't think that was even possible before. I was always, a lot of the scarcity, save your money, don't spend it on this, don't whatever, with that scarcity mindset. And I've got a little story as a demonstration. So we'll say George here. He's got a $100 bill, crisp $100 bill. Pretty much no wrinkles, right? And he's got a nice, pretty truck. He loves this truck. He's driving it around. He's going on a road trip. He realizes he needs a tire iron for his truck. He doesn't have one. So he goes to AutoZone or wherever, your favorite store, and says, I need a tire iron for my truck. All right. Okay, that'll be $100. What? That's way too much. I ain't paying $100 for that. No way. So he storms out and drives off. 2 days later, old George is, sorry, let me put this back, going to visit some friends, and he's out in the middle of nowhere, up in the mountains somewhere. No cell phone service. Got a late start, so it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and he gets a flat tire. Nearest town is an hour-and-a-half drive. So he's got a flat tire, but no way to get the tire off. But don't worry, this $100 bill is sitting nice and pretty in his wallet. How valuable is that $100 bill now? Nada. So that's an example of how we value money too much sometimes. Another example that's not as exaggerated is going to Disneyland with my son. I love seeing him laugh. I love seeing his smile. I love seeing him have fun with his friends. I love that. But it's $200 plus to get into the park for a day for 2 people. Call it $300. To me, that $300 is not as valuable as seeing my son with that smile. But it took me forever to learn that. And then generational patterns, we talked about that a little bit more. And then understanding how all those have an effect on your thing today. We don't realize or often think about how something that happened 35 years ago still has a big impact on us and our kids now. So how do you decide what you want your money mindset to look like? You ever taken the steps to know what you want your money mindset to look like? Or visualized? That's a big thing, is visualize your desired outcome. If you had Fairy Godmother's wand or Harry Potter's wand, and you can have whatever, what would you want your money mindset to look like? Visualize it. Start with clear financial goals. What do you want in your bank account? What do you want in all 6 of your bank accounts? Right down to the penny. If you're driving to Florida and you put in Florida in the GPS, it doesn't know whether to take you to Florida Keys or Orlando. You need to have a specific address. The universe needs exact. It needs a target. So what do you want that target to be? I think everyone should have huge goals that scare you, and then you break them down into, all right, anyway,
No, it's right.
all right. Break them down into SMART goals. So specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So no problem. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, or SMART. And once you define what those are, you need to define why you want those goals. If I want $10,385,225.17 in my bank account, that's fine, but why? What am I going to do with that money? Why do I want that money? Then, next one is examine the positive role model. Find someone that's doing what you're doing or similar to what you want to do. Figure out and understand not only what they're doing today, but more importantly, what they did to get to where they are. Visualize your financial future. What's it going to look like next year, 5 years, 10 years with these goals met? What's it going to look like for 3 generations from now? Educate yourself. Do some studying, go to more seminars, webinars, mastermind with people, read great books. Something else that a lot of people undervalue is there's a lot of great free stuff out there. There's a lot of great stuff on YouTube. I'm a big Tony Robbins or Grant Cardone fan. They have a lot of great content. There's a lot of others like that out there. The library has a lot of great content. There's so much for free that we undervalue because it's free. And there's a lot of other great resources out there as well. Then, how do you change your money mindset? 1, you got to believe it's possible. Because if you don't believe it's possible to change your money mindset, no one in the universe can help you. Even if Tony Robbins or pick your favorite was standing right here, I'm not going to help you. Then you got to believe it's possible for you. I want that car that just drove by, whatever that car is. I know they have it. I know it's possible, but do I believe it's possible for me to get it? And then, again, challenging limiting beliefs. What are those beliefs? Why don't you think it's possible for you? Where did that come from? Understand that and challenge that and change that. Replace them with positive affirmations that align to the mindset that you want. All right. Come on. Take back your power. Often we're giving away our power. We give it away like candy on Halloween. It's like, here you go. Oh, I love your costume. Here's more for you. We give it to the clock. We give it to our boss. We give it to our bank account. How often do we ask our bank account for permission? More than we want to admit a lot of times, I bet. Here's one. We give it to that person that commented on our Instagram 6 weeks ago. We give them power over us. We give it to our habits. But mostly we give it to our fears and doubts. We let our fears and our doubts, what if I fail? What if? You are in control. You can take back that power anytime. So take it back from that person that commented on your Instagram 6 weeks ago. And then again, deciding what you want your money mindset to look like. And be authentic. Your money mindset is going to look different than yours. It's going to look different than yours. It's going to look different than mine. Your money mindset today is going to look different than it will tomorrow or 6 months from now. But be you. Some people want a new car. Some people want a jet. Some people want to open a bakery. Make it authentic to you Not what your parents want, not what, oh, this would be cool if, not what you think your spouse wants you to have, or, it's got to be authentic to who you are. So one of the ways that do that is writing a list of what you don't want. I don't want debt. I don't want to stress about money, whatever. And then write the exact opposite. I want wealth. I want abundance. I want joy and relaxation around money. Whatever those look like for you. And then, as you mentioned earlier, track and celebrate success. I paid this bill. I wrote this affirmation down. Awesome, I'm going to go get a Pepsi. I paid off this credit card. Sweet, we're going karaoke tonight. Those, even the little milestones that seem so insignificant today. I took one step towards that chair I want to sit down in. Huge, sweet. Give yourself a high five. Celebrate those. Even if it doesn't seem big, whatever, or your friend's gonna laugh at you. Hey, I just did this. Okay, why are you telling me this? Because it was awesome. Okay, so what? Go celebrate it anyways, because it was a big thing for you. Then seek professional guidance. We talked about getting the mentorship and the books and the seminars and the webinars and finding someone that is doing what you want to do or doing similar to what you want to do. And a big one is consistency and persistence. So you got to stick with it. Again, like building that muscle at the gym, you got to stick with it. And if you mess up and you skip a day, start over again. I messed up today. That's okay. I'm going to hit it hard next week, and we're going to go for it. I only hit 30 days this run. Next time, I'm going to hit 35 days. Whatever. Be persistent, but be forgiving of yourself. And patient with yourself. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. Crap, that negative thoughts sprung up again. All right, address it, recognize it, and now replace it. So, any questions on that so far? There's a whole lot of info there. And any questions on money mindset? All right. Am I still got on time for a few, or you want me to stop? All right. So now we will go through financial education pretty quickly. Budgeting. Budgeting is the allocation of funds. That's different than management, and we'll cover that in just a little bit. But who here has ever had the thought that budgeting is restrictive?
Yes,
Guess what?
I still do it.
Perfect. Yeah. And why do we think budgeting is restrictive? Or we can't have any fun with budgeting if we have a budget? It makes you track your pennies. It makes you feel confined, right? But yeah, you think you can't do that. But a budget is whatever you create that budget to be. I love cruises, so that's in my budget. I love a swig, maybe a couple times a week, so that's in my budget. Some of the other things, not so much in my budget. But a budget can be whatever you want. If you want some play money for a spontaneity and just go impulse shopping for a bit, hey, I have $100. You go do whatever with this $100. Put that in your budget. It doesn't have to be restrictive or no fun.
Even if you're patient, there's probably still $1. And if you have $2 at the end of the month, you'll get it.
Heck yeah.
It doesn't have to be. It can be something.
Heck yeah.
I think that it's just, society's told us a budgeting. So it's just changing the mindset of that. It's just like you were explaining, you budget in the things you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever the priorities and necessities are for you. It's going to look different for everybody, and everybody's budgeting methods are different. Some people like back of the envelope tracking, some people like the automated, and some people You know, my wife does all the budgeting, so I let it to her. You know, like one of the methods that I use and a lot of my clients is for 10, 10, 10, 70. Anyone heard of 10, 10, 10, 70 method? So that's where you take your income, 10% goes to a tithing or charity, 10% to a short-term and short-term savings, 10% to a long-term savings, and the other 70% is to your lifestyle. So that's to your bills, your mortgage payment, your vacations, all those sorts of things. That's one method. So yeah, 10, 10, 10, 70. So 10 is tithing or charity.
Matter what the charity is.
Nope. So 10% is long-term savings, like maybe for a house or retirement or something. 10% is short-term savings. Then the other 70% is for your lifestyle. So going back to that mindset, one of the things, who wants to take a guess at why we just give 10% away? Why I do it and why I recommend a lot of my clients to. Pardon me?
If you're giving it with investment.
Exactly, with the right intent. Yeah. And then you're more resourceful for the remaining 90. You know, your mind just works that way. So it's like magic. But, you know, and those percentages might be different. Maybe you have to start at like 55585 or whatever, or 11197, you know, and then just adjust accordingly to as you change those things. Or the zero-based method. Money likes having a job. So it needs to have an assignment. That assignment could be, your assignment is savings, your assignment is mortgage, your assignment is Disneyland, your assignment is Pepsi, whatever. Money needs an assignment. So if you zero down, the zero method is where you take everything and give everything an assignment until you're down to zero. You know, and most of that could be in savings and stuff. It doesn't mean it's all gone. It just has an assignment. Or the envelope method. You know, you put a certain amount in an envelope. You know, there's lots of different ways to budget. And then that goes with building and improving credit. You know, the automated bill pay and stuff improves your credit as you establish those history and that, and that reputation of paying your bills on time or even ahead of time and paying more than the minimum, things like that. Applying for only the credit you need. You know, if you only need $5,000 and take out $20,000 from your house. Things like that. So just being smart with your credit, watching your DTI. Then saving, even like you mentioned, even if it's at $2 at the end of the month, or that $5 a month or whatever, or 25 cents a week. It's getting into that habit of saving. And then pretty soon you'll find another 25 cents or another $10, whatever. And then that'll grow and compound. Then investing. There's multiple ways you can invest. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate, things like that. One of the biggest ways and the best investments, in my opinion, and others, is investing in yourself. You know, investing in better education for yourself and to helping you improve in whatever areas you need. And retirement planning, you know, going back to that long-term savings. How many of you thought about retirement planning? How often do you think about retirement planning?
Every now.
When should you start thinking about retirement planning? or even before. You know, I talk to my son a lot about saving up for retirement and just getting started now. He's 10. So he's like, yeah, Dad, whatever, kind of thing most of the time. But hey, he's yeah, yep. And it's a lot of, I wish I'd have started at your age. I wish I'd have understood these things. When is retirement? I like that answer. Why do we think 65, or why is 65 the common number?
Yeah.
Government told us so.
but I don't have
Why did the government tell us it's 65 or 67 and a half now? Do we know where that came from?
Probably they did math on like the longevity. And how much they wanted to pay us.
No, actually, at least from the sources that I found, it's common age used by some private pension systems in operation and influence from systems already in place in other countries. So they just kind of, oh, hey, what are you doing? Oh, what are you doing? All right, we'll take that too. That's where 65 initiated. So,
We're confident in that.
so,
I'm glad you do.
so again, question those blocks and those things and those things you heard. Yeah, go on with retirement. Financial independence number. Who has heard of that? FIN or financial independence number. Well, basically what that is. Sorry, what? Okay, sorry. Basically what that is the dollar amount. So retirement is really a dollar amount. It's not an age. It's a dollar amount you need to be able to retire, stay retired, and maintain your current lifestyle. So you could retire at 24 and stay retired, or you could retire at 65 per week. If you don't have that money behind you, you're not going to stay retired very long. So it's that dollar amount. Then, along with that, who has heard of the Rule of 72? Anyone heard of the Rule of 72? So it's something Albert Einstein figured out, is you take whatever interest you're earning on your money and divide that into 72. So an example, if somebody takes 10 grand, a 29-year-old person takes 10 grand and puts it in a bank earning 1%, it's going to take 72 years for that money to double. Now this is without adding any more money or anything, but just the 1% interest, it's going to take 72 years for that money to double. But so yeah, if you take 10 grand, put it into an account earning 1% interest, it's going to take 72 years roughly for that money to double. So the interest rate you're earning is very important, because if you take that same 10 grand and you put it in an account that's earning 10% interest, it now doubles every 7.2 years roughly. So instead of like 100 years old having $40,000, you're 70 years old with $640,000, rough numbers. So knowing and understanding what interest you're earning in those vehicles plays a huge difference in your retirement. And then the way things are taxed. So you have tax now, tax later, and tax exempt. So accounts like your bank accounts, your, just your normal checking and savings accounts, those are taxed now. So they're taxed when you put the money in, you get taxed on the interest you earn, and you get taxed on the money you pull out. Tax deferred, like your 401ks or IRAs, things like that, you don't pay taxes on the money you put in or on the interest you earn, but when you pull that money, everything is 100% taxable. Then tax exempt or tax advantage, you pay a little bit of taxes on the money going in, but all the interest and then everything you pull out, so long as you play by the rules on everything, of course, is 100% tax-free. So again, the platforms, the vehicles that you have those money in are huge impact as well. And then management, the efficient utilization. So we talked about that a little bit with the automated bill pay. You budgeting, you allocate money. Okay, this money is going to bills. But if it's not utilized and automatically paying, or you sit down and pay it, if it's not utilized efficiently, then it's undermanaged. And so how do you direct the flow of those allocated funds? Do you have it in a 1% income? You've allocated to savings, but is that savings being efficient with 1% or being super efficient with 10% or even higher? So how are you managing and utilizing those resources? So, any other questions on that?
About 1,000.
That's it?
Said about 1,000.
My question on, like, the purpose of work. So I initially, when I started, trying to be all high risk, and then 2008 came, and I lost a lot of money. Now I just play it safe. It's gonna work.
It depends on multiple factors. Again, time frame.
I'm scared to lose that much.
Yeah. So if your risk tolerance is low, then maybe you could put a little bit in a higher risk thing, but keep more in a more conservative. So kind of hybrid. But if you have a little bit higher risk, maybe put a little bit more over here. Or, depending on how much time you have before you need that money. If you're 3 years away from retirement, you don't want a 10-year game plan. So those are some factors to look at. But just some things to think about and consider, and then look at the different options that are available for those. Some of them have kind of both in one. Part of the same vehicle, but part of it is more high risk, but possibly high returns, and some of it's more conservative. So you have kind of a combo built into one. So, any other questions besides 2,000?
Yeah, I got a lot. We don't have the time.
I'm happy to take one or two, and then we can talk later if you want, or whatever. So, but
Digesting.
yeah, there's a lot to digest, and trust me, I'm still digesting, and I've been. So, thank you very much.